welcome to the Day 4 recap for the Arizona Trail 800-mile Showdown. We are back again. We've got some big updates from yesterday. The race is spreading out a little bit, so we're going to get all into that. We also have Ben on the line with us. We'll check in with him in just a minute. If you have any questions for us today, feel free to drop them in the chat with any of your own observations. But yeah, we've got some, I think, incredible stories from yesterday. Bryce pulled a good one in here. But let's kick it right off, and let's go to our overview map real quick. Oh, we're not even on it. Here we go. So if you go to greatwesternadventures.com, as we've been talking about every day, this is where the live trackers are located. So we're going to switch to our favorite view, the topo view. Zoom out, give you guys the total picture here of the Arizona Trail. And you can see this number 1 down here is Ben, and it's hidden behind this number 102, but that's where Mike is. So you can see the Utah border, the trail itself. Mike is absolutely cruising, and Ben started down here, up and over all those sky islands of southern Arizona, currently down over here. So let's take a little bit of a zoom in on Ben first. So he was up on top of Mount Lemmon. Is in such an epic climb up through there. It sounds like he had a jungle of a day. We'll get more into that later, but he did go ahead and grab a motel up in Summerhaven. There's a small community up here at the top of Mount Lemmon. Back when I hiked the trail, there was a famous little pie shack, and then you were saying you got something special there.
Fudge.
Some fudge up there at the top.
At the general store, yeah.
That is, and they probably cater it to those hikers, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's like, I mean, you can't get more calories packed into a small bar.
That's amazing. So he was right around here between mile 184 and 185, and he set off earlier this morning, and this is what they call Oracle Ridge. Oh. Theme music is loud here. Are you guys good? Oh, let's see. My bad. We actually had to pull. Thank you guys so much. Sorry about that. We had to pull our audio this morning. Audio seems a bit low. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear us better now. We might need to recap a little bit. So day 4, we're checking in with these guys, and greatwesternadventures.com is where you can track them. We're giving you guys a quick overview. So Ben was up in Mount Lemmon, and he was up in Summerhaven. All right, looks like the audio is good, so we'll move ahead. So he was up here in Summerhaven. There's a small community up at the top of Mount Lemmon, and he was like in a motel. He's heading down Oracle Ridge now, which is down here. So this is the town of Oracle. Bryce, can you talk about this next stretch that he has ahead of him? It flattens out a bit.
It flattens out a lot. It's kind of, I mean, when we approach the Arizona Trail, this is a section where we thought we could get high mileage days in. It's about 100 miles of just flat desert. I don't remember it being particularly overgrown until you kind of climb up a little bit and then drop all the way down to the Gila, which I believe is the low part of the trail.
Yep, the Gila River, which will be up here near the top. So this is going to be the lowest point of the entire Arizona Trail, meaning this stretch also could be one of the hottest sections of the trail.
Right. Yeah, it was toast to when we went through there, and there's not very many, if any, natural water resupplies through there. There was actually one puddle with a dead cow in it that we really had to debate.
Oh, if we wanted to did you pull from it?
I didn't.
Oh, man.
Individuals did.
And a real quick shout out. So Bryce, you hiked the trail in 2019.
Yeah.
And there's a great about 20-minute long film of Bryce's experience put together by Dylan Harris, who worked with us here at Aravaipa. Go check out Dylan Harris Films on YouTube. You can check out Bryce's journey from north to south. So I just rewatched it last night. It was great.
It's fun to relive it. It's called Adventure in Your Own Backyard, I believe, or something about our backyard. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, you were. It sounds like post. What was it? You played football. Was it in high school and college, or just
high school? Just
high school.
Yep.
But yeah, you were kind of looking for something to do next. Started hiking, and then I believe you had an accident, a car accident, and then this was. I I think you said you were looking for an adventure far away from home, but ended up doing the Arizona Trail.
Yeah.
How did that transpire?
So it's Trail in the Superstitions, Rogers Trough. We went up there, did like a day hike out to Rivas Ranch and back, and that was how I discovered that the Arizona Trail was actually a thing.
Just saw signs.
Just saw signs, yep, and then kind of did a little research and then realized that there's a national scenic trail just right here. I don't need to go across the country to go hike the Appalachian Trail. And it's almost like a condensed form of some of these other trails. You still get all the vert. I mean, maybe not quite as much vert as the PCT, but the profile is similar.
Yep. Let's go ahead and check in with Ben. Ben, can you hear us? You are live.
Oh, there you go. Camera. Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Tell the people out there how you're doing.
Well, yesterday it was like maybe a slow cook or something. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to figure it out. I swelled up yesterday. Everything got super fat. Kind of like a heat exhaustion of some sort. When I got up to the top of it, I was one wrecked cookie, and I still had planned to go down to the bottom to Oracle and then on to Highway 77 or something like that, trying to finish out the evening. But I passed the cabins and checked vacancies, and they had a vacancy, so I was like, all right, I'm pulling an audible, and I'm gonna make an adjustment on my schedule and try to regroup. And so I was able to get a shower. I was able to pop all my blisters, let them air out, tape them all up real good, got some decent sleep, some food to eat, and felt just night and day. So it was a good call, because this stretch coming down is super steep and rocky.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm just glad I made the right decision.
Yeah, we've got Jeff Garmeyer in the chat saying Ben got the 2 toughest days out of the way with Saguaro and Lemon behind him. Do you feel that?
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about Jeff, thinking a lot about Joe, and I'm telling you what, anybody doing the AZT, but even pushing for an FKT, I have so much respect. I have so much, it's on a whole new level, especially down here.
Yeah, you guys, I think you and Brandon, or I don't know if this is all Brandon, you guys put together, I thought it was a pretty hilarious video of you going through the jungle. It's over on, we'll look at it here in a minute, but tell us about the jungle of Mount Lemmon.
Oh my gosh. And I hope you can hear me, because it's pretty windy.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. But it's crazy. You drop down into this bowl or this canyon, and you're staring right at Mount Lemmon. You got to hike that. You're like, holy, and you just keep dropping all the way down. You get down to the river, and then all of a sudden you start going up this gut, and it's like insanely overgrown, and there's huge. There's all like huge bushes, and it's actually a pretty steep climb at some points earlier on, even before you get up onto the ridge, and so I was all I'm doing is in my head, how many days, and I'm got the lyrics of "Welcome to the Jungle, baby. You're gonna die." I was sitting there going, man, I gotta put something together for Mike, just to give him an idea of what he has, in front of him. And if anybody knows Mike, loves horror movies. He loves them. And so I had to do a nightmare Halloween, because I'm telling you what, if I had to turn around I'd be in some serious PTSD.
Oh man, that's wild.
How, Ben, how are the grasses where you're at now compared to where you were yesterday?
Okay, so up high, it's brutal because the single track on the ridge is really cool. It'd be really cool, but there's so much rock and all the grass is covered. Like, you can't see all your I'm like pretty close to the trailhead, and the grass has calmed down a little bit. The trail's nicer, obviously probably more used, maybe down here, but it's a night and day difference from yesterday.
Nice. Well, it's glad to see you moving well again. How much sleep did you get this morning or last night?
So I think I fell asleep the first time and slept till like 2 or 3 hours, and then I did some things really fast and then went back to sleep and got up. I probably woke up at 1:30 going, okay, it's time to get your crack out the door. So it took me like another 2 hours though, a little more. Actually, it took me 3 hours because I still ran another cycle in the Normatec boots trying to flush out the swelling in my legs because they were so swollen I could barely bend my knees.
Wow.
And so I did one more flush, one more shower, and then the blister care. I really tried to do a pristine job so it lasts with Leuco tape and everything I could possibly do to make it so they'll hold up for more than a couple days, because blister care, like if you have to do stuff like every stop, it's going to be like put so much time.
Yeah,
so if you can,
totally.
If you can do it right, then it'll last for a good 100 miles before you have to do. You can even let them air out. If it's Leuco tape and it's spray adhesive on, you can even let them air and still keep the stick.
Yep. Jeff Garmeyer here says lube the feet in the chat.
Oh yeah, I got like a ton of. So if you put that stuff on really good, you lube right over the Leuco tape, and so everything.
And then he says, or just super glue them in pine. So either one. We're gonna check in real quick with Mike's crew. I think he's at an aid station. Mike's crew, if you guys can hear me, if you can turn the vertical lock orientation on your phone off, that would be awesome. And if you can unmute yourself, we'd be able to hear you. Looks like we do have Mike there with the crew at the moment, which is really cool. If you guys can hear us, if you can unmute, we will be able to listen in. And if you can take the vertical, there we go.
That'd be awesome. If you can unmute yourself, we'd be able to hear you.
Awesome. We can see Mike is eating.
Mike there with the crew at the moment. It's really cool. You guys can hear us.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sarah, can you help me with this? I feel like I'm on mute.
There we go. That'd be awesome. If you can unmute yourself, we'd be able to hear you.
Are they saying we're on mute?
You guys are good. I think you guys are good.
You guys can hear us.
But
can you hear us?
If you're watching, yeah, we can hear you. If you're watching the stream on a second device, if you could turn that off, we're getting some
You're on, Mike.
feedback. How's it going, Mike?
I think you're on, Mike.
Huh?
I can't hear them.
Good morning. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you. If you're watching the stream on a second device, you can turn that off. We're getting some feedback. How's it going, Mike?
Tired. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can't hear them.
Because we can't hear you.
All right. We're not sure why they can't hear us.
Mike's taking a look.
That's all right. Maybe it's in someone's ear or something. But we're getting a little insight here. Mike is currently.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can't hear you for some reason.
Okay. We can hear you. Well, we're not sure.
Is the Wi-Fi not on?
Well, maybe they'll figure it out. Oh, they just dropped off. Okay. Good morning. We're in Ben's van, it looks like.
Oh.
How's it going, Brittany? Oh, we're going to go back to Mike real quick. Oh, Mike's crew. There we go. Mike, let me unmute you. Good morning. Can you hear us now?
Sorry, can't hear you, but tired. Getting ready to go on a 30-mile section until I see my crew. Hoping that these trails are a lot less muddy than they've been because it's been pretty nasty.
Yeah, and also been rain.
But anyway, yeah, sorry we can't hear you guys. Hope you're doing good.
Right on.
That's cool. Got a
Well,
at least a little check-in.
Yeah, a
with
little
Mike.
check-in there. We had that little issue the other day, but so yeah, Mike will check in where he's at currently. So this is his current location. He is just off Lake Mary Road, and he's made some good ground. So he's probably 266 miles in. I think Ben was closer to 200 maybe. He's like close to 200. Mike being at 266. So he's really opened up a big lead, I guess, if there is such a thing. I
Right.
guess it is a race, right?
Yep.
It's tough to compare that north and southbound. You know, the northern bound we were expecting to be much more runnable up until this point. Oops, sorry. I'm still watching the Backyard Ultra over here. And so he has got this 30-mile stretch from here across. It's still relatively smooth sailing. There are some ups and downs, of course. And I skipped, I think, way too far ahead. Maybe not.
There's Blue Ridge Reservoir.
Oh, okay,
right
Blue Ridge
there.
Reservoir. Blue Ridge Reservoir, cross, and here is the Mogollon Rim. You can see this big escarpment here. So that is probably what he's talking about. Oh, he's probably going to go to they'll probably go to Blue Ridge, right?
I would think so. I mean, I know that's easy trail access.
Yeah.
As far as for the crew goes.
Yep. So, or there might be the 89, I think, is across there too somewhere. So this might be. Anyways, he's got a good stretch ahead. So that's the updates from Mike. Let's see. Where should we go next? Should we check in with Ben's crew?
Yeah. Yeah. If we
Let's
can
see.
get Brittany
Good
on
morning,
there.
Brittany. Sorry we had to pull away from you there. If you are around, we'd love to chat with you for a minute.
Oh, I wonder how close Ben is.
We got a check-in from Terry Gerber, trail name just retired here. My question, how are these guys going to cross the rough Matazal Mountains in one day? It took me 4. That is mind-blowing. That's a great point. We were just talking about this. Sections that took us a whole week, they are doing in 2 days,
Right.
which is it is mind-numbing for sure. And the Matazals was one of my toughest sections on the trail.
I would second that.
Yeah.
It's just so rough. And if Ben is already talking about how much of a jungle Mount Lemmon is, I can only imagine what it's going to be in the Mazatals, because I know they have gotten a lot of rain this year. When we went through, it was a very dry year, and it was completely overgrown with catclaw. So that's going to be interesting to see how they progress through that section.
Yeah, I know Four Peaks has burned a couple times. Back when I did it, that was one of the most overgrown for me. I was pushing through trees that had grown up in the middle of the trail. It was just wild.
Yeah, and I know I did a Superstition hike recently, and it was more overgrown than I've ever seen it. And I think a lot of it
The
is
Superstitions too, that's going to be another section that is going to be wild.
And that fire, probably everything's growing back faster. And
yeah. So you got the Superstitions, Four Peaks, Matazals. Like the Central Arizona section is also pretty tough.
And rugged.
Yes.
Yep.
And remote.
And remote.
Not much. I mean, there's 3 wilderness areas there, so you've got no car access for some big stretches. Brittany, if you can hear us, we do have the camera on you. We're kind of spying in. We can't not hear you. So I'm not sure why we're not getting audio, but maybe the service isn't great. I'm not sure. We'll try Ben real quick. Ben, can you hear us? We're back with you for a minute. I know your service is maybe a little challenging right now. It seems like you're getting pretty close to your crew. Looks like that's not going to work out for us. So let's take a quick minute. Maybe we'll review some of the other resources online so we can take a quick look at, this is Mike's day 4 here. And so you can see he started north of Flagstaff, went all the way around, and is making his way south almost on par with Sedona now. So he is just ripping through these sections right now. It's pretty amazing. He's done over 60 miles every single day.
His progress is wild, and especially if he's talking about doing this on muddy trail too. I mean, that's a significant factor.
Yeah, and I did get a chance to speak with Jeff Browning last night, who's his coach, and he was saying that Mike, because of an ankle roll 4 weeks ago, he like taped up both of his ankles really tightly, and I think that was, in addition to the muddy trails, maybe affecting his gait a bit. So he did relieve that, took that tape off, and seems like he is progressing a lot better now.
Sure. And I mean, even when Mike is saying that he's having challenging days, he's still knocking off 65 miles.
Yeah, and still getting sleep. That's, I think, one important factor. It seems like Ben has been going longer days and less sleep. And, then he's kind of taking a longer break like we just saw. So Mike is, I think, off the trail by midnight or maybe at the latest 1 each night, each morning, and then sleeping until 5 o'clock, getting about 5 hours of sleep a night, which I think is going to pay dividends for him as these days wear on.
I would agree. And I'm curious to see if Ben's progress starts increasing after, not a full night's rest, but relatively speaking, a lot more sleep than he's had up to this point.
Yeah, I would think that this will be a great day for Ben as long as he can manage the heat of the desert. So hopefully he's got ice and bandanas, and I know some of the crew access is maybe limited in that section, but there is some access.
There's some points. Yep.
So let's take a quick look at Mike's day. Jamming out to Kesha out there.
Nice.
And this was a funny call out to. They've been kind of jiving each other back and forth a little, but he was telling Ben, like, hey, I know Southern Arizona, you got some tough stuff, but look what I have to deal with. He's got muddy trail that looks like is heavily rutted out with elk footprints, which makes for some uneven running and some not ideal conditions. It's not total smooth, buttery trail up there.
Yeah, not ideal, especially if you're dealing with some shin, ankle issues.
We got some people supporting. You can check out these hats. They do support Bigger Than the Trail. Whoops. Let's see here. That was a good image at the end there. Looks like, okay, he grabbed 20 chicken wings this morning and is off and running. He's got his poles out and looks like a pretty lightweight pack to begin the day. Let's see here. I was going to take a look at Ben's real quick. So this is the video they posted, which I thought was hilarious. You have to check this out. We can't hear the sound for you guys. He's playing Welcome to the Jungle in the background. It's hilarious.
That's
We got a
great
comment here.
edit.
C Chad Run says, I think Ben is starting to go crazy. I think you are absolutely right on that one.
Get to watch a descent into madness.
Oh my gosh. That was so great. I think that kind of sums up where Ben's headspace has been at. I mean, it's funny. We do these daily check-ins. We get a little glimpse, but seeing some of that footage, it's like this guy has been on an epic adventure that none of us fully understand in the last 4 days.
Yep, and it's just so condensed. I mean, I'm sure when they're afterwards, like reliving or like reflecting on this experience, it's going to be hard to like differentiate the days, let alone like different sections. It's just got to be such a blur.
Yeah, even through hiking it in, 30, 35, 40 days is, I mean, that's a lot, but they're just packing it all in, just crushing it down to like this one endless experience.
As dense as one of those Summer Haven fudge bars.
Yeah. Ryan was saying in the chat, he can't hear the volume from the video. Yeah, we couldn't figure out how to plumb that into the stream. So you're probably just getting a little bit of feedback from our headphones. We can hear it in our headphones. So head over to adventure.yourpotential on Instagram. You can check it out over there. Give these guys a follow for sure. This was a fun story that Bryce found or was sent to him. So this is from the Northern Arizona Trail Runners Association. Do you want to kind of cue this one up?
Yeah, so it sounds like they were doing a little bit of a class trip, the Northern Arizona Trail Running Association, and they had some of the students out there on trail, and they were telling the students about the race that's going on. They turn the corner, they see somebody cruising by, they ask if it's Mike. Sure enough, it's Mike McKnight.
Let's pull that back up here, put it on screen. So they posted, they were 2 minutes after that they were telling the students about this whole challenge. This guy is a blur past them, and it turns out it was Mike.
And I think in their comment they said if Mike loses by 2 minutes, it's their fault.
That's right. Yeah, that's just a cool story. And I think we saw yesterday there was a bunch of kids out on the trail cheering Ben on at night.
Yeah,
holding up some signs for him.
It's really cool to see like the community support, intentional or not.
Yeah, definitely. What else? Where else do we want to go? Do we want to try and check in with Ben's crew again? Let's see. Brittany, let me unmute you. Hopefully, do we have audio now?
Hey, good morning.
We gotcha. Awesome. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's already been a day.
Tell us what's happening.
Well, last night was pretty eventful anyway. Just Ben being pretty trash, and I tuned in late, so I don't know how much he updated you, but we stayed the night there just outside of Marshall Gulch, and he got a shower and some good sleep, and we worked on his feet quite a while. And then he left, and Google tried to take me and Brandon down a really crazy four-wheel drive.
No, the gravel road.
Oh yeah. No, not gravel, giant boulders.
Yeah, I think that road was washed away from the last fire.
Yeah, well, there was a down tree, so we only got a mile in, thankfully, and turned around. And then I sent Ben a message on InReach, and I told him that I didn't think we could get to American Flag, that he's going to have to go 6 more miles to AZ 77. And he had service, and he called me, and he's like, you were never supposed to go down that road. You're supposed to go all the way back into Tucson. But that's how kind of brain dead I am these last few days. It's all kind of blurred. I just punch in the coordinates and go. So lesson learned. Look where you're going. See the better route. But everything's good. The van's good. Taylor, if you're watching, your van is fine. I was really careful.
Shout out to Taylor for lending the van. Coming through.
Ben just got in.
Oh, awesome.
Hey.
There he is.
How's it going? What's for dinner? Or breakfast?
Oh, no. Do you want to take my phone? I'll get it ready.
I'll take this. Let me
You can take it off the charger now.
flip it. See if I can flip it. There we go. I went ahead and hung up, so I'm not going to stick around too long because it's only like a little over 6 miles to the next, and then I got a big 30-mile stretch. So
yeah,
I need
I think Yeah, you're going to have to load up with a lot of water and ice probably for that stretch, huh?
Okay. So that's what I was going to say. Any tips on that, on this next? So now I'm in the lowlands, and and the one thing that you do have for this first 200 miles is a ton of water. There's no need to take a ton of water, because you could just do a filter and hit stream after stream after stream. But now it's going to be probably a world of a difference.
Yep, definitely.
So I was thinking I'd go the next 6, take a decent break, and then obviously do a big push. I'm going to do probably a push through the night while it's cool temps. It just makes more sense than to do a slow push during the day.
Yeah, I mean, definitely plenty of water and ice, I would say. I mean, the ice won't last super long, but if you can in any way load up a pack with as much as you can, keep yourself cool and stuff, I would recommend that for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't overexert yourself, but probably keep moving. I don't know if you have like a sun umbrella, might be a good idea.
Yeah, no, I don't. So yeah, but no Slurpee machines along the way, so I guess I'll just have to.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think of the water sources in that area. I think they're few and far between probably for this next stretch.
Yeah, mostly going to be like cattle tanks.
Yep. Bring your filters.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we have Terry Garber out there. Just crossed paths with Ben on the Arizona Trail near Parker Canyon Lake. Amazed at him taking the time to talk to him. So
yeah,
there's a runner or hiker that you met out there. Well, we'll let you get fueled up, Ben. Thank you for checking in, and good luck today.
Thank you. And everybody, thank you for following along, and those that have come out and cheered both me and Mike on, and it means a lot to both of us. And
yeah, you got a lot of love here in the chat. Lee Adams is wishing you well. So is Jeff Garmeyer. He says, knock out those 6 miles, Ben.
Yeah, there you go. That's all I have to think about is 6 right now.
That's right.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, we'll let him get set up. I don't want to distract him too much.
I know. I could sit there and just like ask him questions for an hour.
For sure. Yeah, it looks like they're going to get him all set up. So, yeah, that's going to be, I think this was not the time of day he was probably hoping to get through this stretch, but it is a long enough section that no matter what, he's going to have to travel in the day at some point.
Got to deal with the heat a little bit at least.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's so much smoother than the terrain he's been going over up to this point. I think, it'll be a relief to his feet, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, there was times on the Arizona Trail where I carried up to 2.5 gallons of water.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So hopefully he's got a lot of capacity. I would say you can't carry enough in this stretch.
Yeah.
Sounds like he'll have 6 miles and then a 30-mile stretch. So that'll probably be through the good part of the heat of the day. But, yeah, if he's feeling refreshed and not too tired tonight, I would say this is probably a good night to go maybe a little bit later into the evening. Or, if he can get to that crew van in the hottest part of the day, maybe take a little nap then. But I think he's just got to keep moving.
Especially when he's coming off the best night of sleep that he's had so far. I think that's probably the move.
I know he said talking about taking a larger break after 6 miles, but I'm like, you might want to keep it moving, dude.
On that section, just knock it out.
Keep it going. Let's see if we have any more questions here in the chat. Unrelenting Sun, Seatown fan, definitely. You guys need to lay off the hops. I don't know what that is, but we do want to shout out Mountain Ops. So if that's what you're referring to, we do have a discount code at the top of this video, and that does go to help support the video coverage of this amazing adventure. So please check out Mountain Ops. They've got a lot of great products from electrolytes to pre-workout. They've got some energy bars as well that I think Bryce will be digging into later.
Oh, absolutely.
So we really appreciate them supporting this challenge, supporting Mike and Ben. And those codes for 20% off is all caps north to south or south to north, depending on if you're rooting for Ben or Mike here. Let's see. Lee Adams, shout out. He was pacing Ben. He says, great thing about pacing with Ben. He's always talking run strategy, business strategy, whatever, even when exhausted. It's always great conversation. You know that guy's always thinking and strategizing.
Always.
Yeah. Always planning. Let's see. We got some insights here from Jeff, the free outside. I think he wants to start flipping to sleeping days and traveling all nights for sure. So, yeah, the trick is, I guess, how to make that transition.
Right. You're sacrificing sleep somewhere to do that.
Sacrificing miles, too.
Or sacrificing miles.
Like
yeah.
if he just had a big break, so it's like, does he try and wait out or sleep out the heat of the day today and then literally go through the entire night tonight and make up those miles? Or is he going to just go through this whole night and then sleep tomorrow? So it's a tough call.
Right.
I'm not sure the right answer. Uh-oh, we got a question here.
Oh, no. I was hoping nobody would notice. Yeah, I took a tumble last night. Nothing too bad. Mostly my pride. It happens. It's part of the game.
Yep, it does happen for sure. Let's see. Anything else that we want to check in on? Let's see. Okay, we got Jeff here. I think he's going to push tonight. I would probably agree with that.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like the move through that section. It's just so doable. You don't have to be constantly like worried about if you're going to twist an ankle or step through grass on like an uneven rock. It's been pretty straightforward, I think.
Well, and if you know that, hey, if I push tonight and maybe he can go until this time tomorrow, like 10 a.m., then he can maybe sleep from like 10 to 3 and then get moving again. And if he could get, how far is it to to Picket Post from here? Oh. Let's pull up our map and let's pontificate on how far he could make it.
I'm going to say it's 150.
So right now he is at, 200?
Yeah.
So he's right at 200. And so this is the desert section. He's going to get crew again right here. I think this is Tiger Mine Trailhead.
Yep.
Let's see. Maybe he can make the Gila River. 261.
It's less than I thought.
And then Picket Post, I think, would be closer to 300 maybe.
Just about.
296. So,
about 100 miles.
About 100 miles. So, yeah, it gets a little tricky. Getting access in between the Gila River and Picket Post, I think, is pretty tough. I mean, our Copper Corridor run goes back in here, and it is rough trying to drive back in here. I would say that would be challenging.
Yep. And there is, I believe it was recent, they put in a water tank through that section. Just before that, you basically have the Gila through that 100-mile section is the only like true reliable source besides like a spigot once you get into Kearney.
Freeman Road is usually a good water cache.
I
don't know if that was the case when you did it.
There was actually a Trail Angel there when we did it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I dropped water for myself there, but I think people just go and drop water a lot of times. So,
yep.
Yeah, Picket Post is mile 300. That's from Jeff Garmeyer. Some people are saying that you and String Bean look super similar.
That's funny that they say that. I actually got confused as String Bean at the Cocodona finish line. I was not offended.
That's funny. That's a good point. Any check-ins on the other 2 FKT attempts? Maybe that's a good place to close it out. So, yes, we will go take a look at those. So, Eric Halston is absolutely crushing it. He left one day after Mike from Utah heading southbound. And as you can see, 150 miles in 61 and a half hours. He is doing fantastic right now. And here is his Garmin. You can see he is climbing up towards Humphreys right now. So He made it to around here last night, kind of around them there, and you can't see my pointer on the screen, but he should be crossing through Flagstaff. He's doing over 50 miles a day right now, so just about 10 miles per day behind what Mike has been averaging.
It's consistent so far.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And popping over to the FKT site, so shout out to Fastest Known Time for tracking all these efforts. You can see the overall record, 13 days and 3 hours. And this is the record that Mike and Ben are shooting for. In the self-supported category, this is what Jeff Geiermeyer and Whit Weisbrom previously held. Josh Perry currently holds it 14 days, 12 hours, which was faster. I mean, both Jeff and Josh did faster than Versteeg's. I was out there for part of that attempt back in 2016. And that is what Eric is going after. So this is the benchmark he's looking. And then we will check in a second with someone that is going after Katie Brown's record. That is the self-supported women's of 17 days, 19 hours. And if you're going after that, you might as well go after the overall. Helen Galarakis did 17 days, 11 hours. And we have Krista Fasciano, and she just posted a couple updates. She is 122 miles in. So if you want to check out her Instagram and a little update, Krista Fass on Instagram, give her a look. She is giving some updates from the trail. Seems to be moving really well on the trail. And she is experienced. So she did the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the CDT this year, and is now on the Arizona Trail.
I like her trail name, Stardust.
Stardust, yep.
Yeah, and she was already through Tucson. Every single time I think I say that with 3 different pronunciations.
That's right. I mean, I still am not sure how to pronounce Appalachian or Appalachian.
Yeah. Tomato.
Let's see. Question here. Did you both run the entire Arizona Trail? So we both did a through hike.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't say I really ran much of it. Maybe like a little stretches, but yeah, definitely carried a pack the whole way.
There was one section where I did decide to run a little bit, and I was like, I'm out here. Maybe one day I want to run an ultra marathon, and it was in the Mazatals. Started running, wasn't looking at my GPS, took the wrong trail, went almost all the way down to the bottom of the mountain, climbed back up. So then I stopped doing that.
Oh yeah,
so
that's brutal.
It's navigation. It's a well-marked trail. Don't get me wrong, but there are certain areas where it's so overgrown that it's very easy to miss some of these turnoffs. So if you're moving fast, navigation is going to be a concern.
Yep. Let's see. Hang on, I just watched the String Bean documentary. Yeah, that's another great watch. So there's more and more great Arizona Trail coverage out there on YouTube. So we shouted it out earlier in the show, but if you're just tuning in, you can check out Bryce's through hike from 2019 is on Dylan Harris Films YouTube channel. We can maybe link it also in the description. Would be really cool, but it's a great watch. You get some great insights on your background, which is really cool, and kind of how you got into this long distance through hiking and then into ultra running after that.
Totally.
And then of course, I mean, you have to watch the Pilot Field documentary, Racing Arizona. And in addition to that, if you really enjoyed that and just got exposed to their channel, if you go back to their videos from 2021, they have some really great behind the scenes daily videos they put out while it was happening that I thought was a really cool perspective.
I was so hooked when they were doing that. They're well shot, like well put together. They did a great job.
Very cinematic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. High production.
Yep.
Dylan's film on our trip, Adventure in Your Own Backyard, is what I believe it is called on YouTube. It's Dylan's first film, actually.
Nice.
He was in photography, made a quick switch over, and then Dylan hiked the whole thing with me.
Just to produce that. Well, probably wanted to, but
I asked him his opinion on some things, and then it was basically he's like, "I'll do it with you." It was like that casual.
That is so crazy, because that was his second time doing it.
Yep.
That is awesome. So yeah, I think I mean, part of our goal, I think, in doing this coverage and spending all this time is promoting the Arizona Trail.
Absolutely.
It is such a great adventure for anyone, even if you just want to get some friends together, park a car at one end of a passage, drive to the other, and do it as a through run. I think that would be a great adventure for a group of ultra running friends.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's no section that's not worth running.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe avoid some of those grasses, southern Arizona. Maybe you might want to time it out if you have the luxury of section hiking it. But yeah, I think there's so much to explore.
Yeah. Got a little check-in from Melody Varner. Met Stardust at Orderville Trailhead. She was focused.
I believe it.
Yeah, so it's going to be an exciting next couple of weeks. We have Michael McKnight and Ben Light chasing the overall fastest known time on the trail, the supported record. We also have a male and female chasing the self-supported records, and I think both have a reasonable shot.
Oh, absolutely.
And we could see the women's overall record also fall.
There is a lot of drama going on the Arizona Trail right now.
And we're here for it.
It's great.
So we're going to have to, we're just going to keep these up. So thank you guys all. We're probably going to close down this stream. We went a little bit longer than normal today, but there's just so much to talk about. And yeah, keep tuning in with us. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next stream. We'll be back 9:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow with our next daily check-in, day number 5. And I think we'll have a special guest tomorrow. And we are keeping an eye on the meeting point too. So there might be a group heading out to the crossing.
And that might be a little farther south than we originally anticipated.
Yeah, so with Mike being, 60 miles ahead now of Ben's kind of pace, we were thinking near Sunflower, and now I would say somewhere between Roosevelt Lake and Sunflower would be my projection, maybe up in Four Peaks, maybe more towards Roosevelt Lake. I'm not entirely sure.
That sounds about right to me.
Yep.
Somewhere through there.
And I guess time-wise, I'm trying to think when that's going to happen. I mean, is that like a Friday, Saturday thing at this point?
Wednesday. I would say so.
Yeah. So this is Wednesday. Ben should cross the Gila tonight, I would think, or tomorrow morning.
Yep. Picket post sometime
Picket
tomorrow.
post into the Superstitions tomorrow, through the Superstitions into Friday.
Yep.
Which would mean Roosevelt sometime Friday and then climbing up. And then for Mike, he's going to get near Pine by tomorrow. Sunflower
depending on
Friday-ish. And then, so I would say like maybe Friday night into Saturday morning.
Yeah, so maybe somewhere between Sunflower, just like you said, Sunflower, Roosevelt. That sounds right.
Yep. So we'll keep tracks on that. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.